Chapter 4. Sai Baba's First Advent in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints, Shirdi, a Holy Tirth, Personality of Sai Baba, Dictum of Gauli Bua, Appearance of Vitthal, Shir Sagar's Story, Das Ganu's Bath in Prayag, Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his First Advent in Shirdi, the Three Vadas. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write Sai Satcharitra. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decay of dharma and an ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself for the protection of the virtuous and the destruction of the vicious. And for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself age after age. This is the mission of the Lord and the sages and saints who are his representatives and who appear at appropriate times and work in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the duties of other classes, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do Sandhya adoration and the Orthodox leave the religious practices, when yogis neglect their meditation, when people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern and turn away from the true path of salvation, then saints appear and try to set matters at right path by their words and action. They serve as beacon lights and show us the path and the right way for us to follow. In this way, many saints, Nivritti, Dhyandev, Muktabai, Namdev, Gora, Gunai, Eknath, Tukaram, Narahari, Narsi Bhai, Sajan Kasai, Savata, Ramdas, various others did appear at various times to show the right path to the people and present Advent came as Shri Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, a Holy Tirth. The banks of the Godavari River in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint, prominent amongst them being Dhyaneshwar. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargaon Taluka of the Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari River at Kopargaon, one gets the way to Shirdi. When you travel there 3 kos or 9 miles, you come to Nimgaon, from where Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous and well known as the other holy places like Gangapur, Nirsinghavadi or Dambar on the banks of Krishna River. As the devotee Damoji flourished and blessed Mangal Veda, as Samarth Ramdas at Sajangarh, as Sri Nirsingha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi, so Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. It is an account of Sri Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of a person Sai Baba was. He conquered the sansar, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace or mental calm was his ornament, and he was a repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnava devotees, most generous amongst all, the quintessence of all his senses. He had no love for perishable things and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of this world or of the world beyond. His antran was as clear as a mirror. His speech always rained nectar. The rich or poor people were the same to him. He neither knew nor cared for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely, mixed with all people, watched the actings and dances of nautch girls and heard ghazal songs. Still, he swerved not an inch from samadhi. The name of Allah was always on his lips. While the world awoke, he slept. And while the world slept, he was vigilant. His abdomen was as calm as a deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely predicted. And though he sat in one place, he knew all the transactions of the world. His darbar was imposing. He told daily hundreds of stories, still he swerved not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in the masjid or walked morning, noon and evening towards Lendi or Chavadi. Still, he at all times abided in the self. Though a siddha, he acted like a sadhaka. He was meek, humble, egoless and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba. And as the soil of Shirdi was trodden by Sai Baba's feet, it attained extraordinary importance. As Dhyaneshwar elevated Alandi, Eknath did to Paithan, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stones of Shirdi, for they could kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take his dust on their head. Shirdi became to us devotees another Pandharpur, Jagannath, Dwarka, Banaras, Rameshwar, Badri Kedar, Nasik, Trayambekeshwar, Mahakaleshwar, Mahabaleshwar, Gokarna. Contact of Sai Baba and Shirdi was like our study of Veda and Tantra. It quietened our samsara and rendered self-realization. The darshan of Sri Sai was a yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed all our sins. Shampooing his legs with a bath in Triveni Prayag and drinking the holy water of his feet destroyed our sins. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting his Udi and Prasad was all purifying. He was a Sri Krishna and Sri Ram who gave us solace. He was a Parabrahma. He was himself beyond the pair of Dvandvas, never dejected nor elated. He was always engrossed in himself as existence, knowledge and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far beyond to Punjab, Kolkata, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka and Konkan. Thus the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become quiet at once. They got here the same unparalleled joy that devotees got at Pandharpur by seeing Vitthal Rakhumai. This is not an exaggeration. Listen to what a devotee says in this respect. Dictum of Gauli Buva. An old devotee by name Gauli Buva was about 95 years old. He was a Varkari of Pandhari. He stayed 8 months at Pandharpur and 4 months from Ashad to Kartik on the banks of the Ganges. He had an ass with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his vari or trip to Pandharpur and came to Shirdi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved very much. He used to stare at Baba and say, "This is Pandharinath Vitthal incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." This Gauli Buva was an old devotee of Vithoba and had made many a trip to Pandhari, and he testified that Sai Baba was real Pandharinath. Vitthal himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik, and in his presence made others sing God's name continuously, day and night, for all 7 days of the week. This is called Nam Saptah. Once he asked Das Ganu Maharaj to do the Nam Saptah. Das Ganu replied he would do it, provided he was assured that Vitthal would appear at the end of the 7th day. Baba, placing his hand on his chest, assured him that certainly Vitthal would appear, but for that, the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dhankapuri of Dakurnath, the Pandhari of Vitthal, the Dwarka of Ranchod is here. One need not go far out to see Dwarka. Will Vitthal come here from outside place? Why, he is here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vitthal will manifest himself in Shirdi, here. After the Saptah was over, Vitthal did manifest himself in the following manner. Das Ganu was as usual sitting in meditation after the bath, and he saw Vitthal in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vitthal Patil come? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he'll escape even if you are a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vitthal darshan. One hawker came there for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tallied with the figure that appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit, or Das Ganu as he was called, was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine for worship. Bhagwantrao Kshisagar's story. How fond was Baba for Vitthal worship was illustrated in Bhagwantrao Kshisagar's story. The father of Bhagwantrao was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make buddies or annual trips to Pandharpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home which he worshipped. After his death, the son stopped everything, the bari, the worship and the Shraddh ceremony. When Bhagwantrao came to Shirdi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him here. He never offered Naivedya, and so he starved Vitthal and me. I have brought him here now, and I shall remonstrate him and set him to worship." Das Ganu's bath in Prayag. The Hindus think that a bath in the holy Tirth of Prayag, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there at periodical times to have a sacred bath there. Once, Das Ganu thought he should go to Prayag for a bath, and he came to Baba to get his permission from doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so far. Our Prayag is here, believe me." Then, wonder of wonders, when Das Ganu placed his head on Baba's feet, out flowed streams of Ganga Yamuna water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Das Ganu was overwhelmed with feelings of love and adoration, and he was full of tears. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leelas. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents' birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba and the others, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in mother of pearls. Namdev was found at the bank Bhimrathi river by Gunai, and Kabir on the bank Bhagirathi river by Tanman. Similar was the case with Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 years under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full with the knowledge of Brahma. He had no desire for worldly objects even in dreams. He kicked out Maya, and Mukti was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shirdi, the mother of Nana Chokdar, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing heart penance, not minding heat or cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking where this chap had turned up from. His form and features were so beautiful that a mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly he looked very young, but by his action he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion. He was an enigma to all. One day, it so happened that God Khandoba possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, 'Deva, you please inquire, what blessed father's son is this lad, and where has he come from?' God Khandoba asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stone was removed, a corridor was seen, in which 4 lights were burning. The corridor led to a cellar, where cow-mouth-shaped structures, wooden boards, rosaries were seen. Khandoba said, "This lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off the scene by telling them that was his guru's place, his holy watan, and he requested them to guard it well. The people then closed the corridor as before. As Ashwatha and Audamba trees are held sacred, Baba regarded the neem tree equally sacred and loved it very much. Mahalsapati and other Shirdi devotees regard this site as a resting place, Samadhi Sthan of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. Tree Vadas. The site with the neem tree and the surrounding space was brought by Mr. Hari Vinayak Sathe, and on this site a big building styled Sathe's Vada was erected. This Vada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A par or a platform was built around the neem tree and lofts with steps were constructed. Under the steps, there is a niche facing south and devotees sit on the pulp facing north. It's believed that he who burns incense there on Thursday and Friday evenings will by God's grace be happy. This Vada was old and dilapidated and needed repairs. The necessary repairs, additions and alterations have been made now by the Sansthan. Then after some years, another Vada, Dikshit's Vada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib Dikshit, solicitor of Mumbai, had gone to England. He had injured his leg in an accident there. The injury could not be got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandorkar advised him to see Sai Baba. So, he went to Sai Baba in 1909 and requested him to cure the lameness of his mind rather than that of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshan of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a Vada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10th December 1910. On this day, two other important events took place. Mr. Dada Sahib Kharpade was given permission to return home and the night Aarti at the Chavdi was started. The Vada was completed and inhabited on the Ram Navami day in 1911 with due rites and formalities. Another Vada was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Bhoti of Nagpur. Lots of money was spent on this building, but all the amount was well utilized as Sai Baba's body is resting in this Vada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir formerly had a garden which was watered and looked after by Baba. 3 Vadas thus came up where there was none before. Of these, Sathe's Vada was most useful to all in the early days. The story of the garden, which was attended by Sai Baba with the help of Vaman Tatya. The temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi. His returning to Shirdi with the marriage party of Chand Patil. The company of Devi Das, Janki Das and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Mohideen Tamboli residing in Masjid, love of Mr. Dengle and other devotees, and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Bow to Shri Sai. Peace be to all.